Speak a little bit about 211 to make sure you understand what it is that we do, but not just that, but to talk about the needs here within Houston County that we get. Just so you know, make sure you know that 211 is an easy to remember 3-digit number for getting help or if you want to give help. 211 will connect you to a call specialist that has access to a comprehensive database of services that are available here in our community. And by its design, the 211 system is ideally suited for serving as a single point of entry for any variety of programs and for being that single contact point for information. 211 serves families from all walks of life, but most importantly benefits our most vulnerable populations. Those being the elderly, people with disabilities, our low income by providing advocacy and making access to services easier. 211 is basically that entry point for people needing help, and especially for those that have never needed help before. Those calls are going up because they're clueless with where to go to or who to contact. And just so you know, 211 is not just a local program. 211 is available in all 67 counties within the state of Alabama. Anybody can pick up their phone and dial 211. As a matter of fact, though, 91% of the people living in the United States can pick up their phone and dial 211 and be able to get assistance. The FCC several years ago declared 211 as the central number to call for information and referrals nationwide. Locally now here, we partner with about 870 different organizations. And these agencies and programs provide assistance to people living in 7 southeast Alabama counties, from Barber County around up to Covington County, Coffeedale, that whole area. When dialing 211, you speak to a live call specialist. How often does that happen when you call customer service now? The call specialists are not just providing phone numbers. We're providing qualifications, hours of operation, the documentation that's required, whether or not they need to make an appointment or walk in. You know, some places that provide assistance, you cannot just walk in. You need to schedule an appointment. You need to have certain documentation. We're going to make sure that you know that. We're educating the callers, and by doing so, we also have our partners' best interest at heart. It cuts down on confusion. When you dial 211, information is available at your fingertips with one simple phone call like we talked about. We can provide you information that way. We can provide text messages immediately while we're on the phone with you, send an email with that information, or we have an online resource directory that people can go to by visiting our website where they can go and search through those resources there at wiregrass211.com. Wiregrass United Way 211 has been up and running since July of 2008, and with 2 full-time employees. That's it. And but we average about 20 to 25 volunteers annually. Presently, just so you know, this comes up a lot, 68% of our budget comes from the Wiregrass United Way, and the balance from small grants, donations, and fundraising. We have to rely heavily on our local communities for support, and we cannot expect Wiregrass United Way to fund us completely. So we reach out. It's difficult a lot of times to get funding for call centers. But since opening our 211 call center in July of 2008, through this past March 2015, there have been over 90,000 calls that we've answered from residents right here in the Wiregrass. And for those calls, we provided over 161,000, or about 163,000 referrals that we provided to agencies and programs that help people living here within our local communities. Now, for fiscal 2014, getting local here for Houston County, we answered 15,832 calls in fiscal 2014. 9,685 of those calls, or 61% of the calls from all of our 7-county region, came from Houston County. For those calls, the number one need for the people calling us, which will not come as any surprise, especially to DHR. They were here earlier, they may know this. But 38% of the calls are for utility bill payment assistance. 22% are for assistance with food. Again, these are numbers here for Houston County specifically. 14% are for rent assistance. And we're fortunate here in Houston County to have resources for these needs to be able to help out. We have some wonderful agencies here in the area. The top 5 agencies that we make referrals to for Houston County, all of them are providing utility bill payment assistance. We also get calls from people wanting to help. Those calls are not as much, but those numbers are growing. But I really wanted to mention this because last year, 85% of the callers in our whole region, 7-county region, that called wanting to donate things such as clothing, household goods, food, etc., 85% of those calls were from Houston County. In addition, 80% of our total callers last year that wanted to know where and how they can volunteer, how can they give back to their community, 80% were from Houston County. I think that's very admirable. As Mark was mentioning earlier, we have a lot of people that give back through volunteering and want to help, and I think we're fortunate in this area to have that. Sometimes we don't have resources, may not have resources available for our callers. We keep up with the unmet needs. For Houston County, the #1 unmet need is utility deposit assistance. These are people calling for needs that we don't really have resources available for. #2, motel vouchers. Our homeless shelters may be filled up. Primarily the homeless that have no other place to go and don't have funds to pay for motel vouchers, #2. #3 is rent deposit assistance. Those deposits, it's tough to come up with resources to help pay those deposits. And then 4 for Houston County is not enough housing for the homeless or low income, but for homeless in particular that we struggle with. And just so you know, we had 610 different homeless people or families contact us last year, and of those 610, 465 or 76% were from Houston County. Lastly, I just want to say that Wiregrass United Way 211, we're here for the citizens of Houston County. We have a lot of information to share for those people that need help or to give help. We don't always have the answers, but I assure you, we have more answers than not there. We're going to do our very best to be able to help and get people in the right direction. And before I finish here, going along with what Mr. Culver was talking about with the aftermath of the weather that we had over the weekend, I want to encourage people that still need help to call 211. We are working with city, county officials, organizations, keeping up with all those resources and information that's available. Call 211 and we'll be able to give you that information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We can let you know that we will be handing out ice at 12:30 today. A lot of people calling and needing ice, but and the information on volunteers and the places that are providing food assistance too, that we can provide that too. We thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and are there any questions?
Thank you, David, for being here and for the service you are providing.